Hello students, welcome to my channel Hans Commerce Tutorial for the lectures on commerce, accounts, finance and management. My suggestion to you, before watching the video, please go to the description below my video. You'll find a link there. Take a printout of the problems given in the link and keep it ready before watching the video so that you can be able to understand the problem, the solution and the explanation to get the maximum benefit from the lectures. Thank you. So students, we have already discussed the theory of internal reconstruction in the previous video. So if you have not watched the theoretical aspect of internal reconstruction, please go back to the previous video. Watch the complete theory on internal reconstruction, then we'll start the problem. Then only it will be understandable to you. So without knowing the theory, if you come to the problem, it will be very, very difficult to understand. Hope you got my point. So now I'm going to start the problem. But before going to the problems, I hope that everybody got the hard copy printout of the problems. I have given all the problems in the link which is in the description. Go to the description in which you will find the link. Get a copy printout, hard copy of the problems and keep it ready before watching the video. Then only you can be able to understand properly. So I'll begin the problems. Now first problem. See the first problem, short answer questions. First of all, I'm going to attempt only two problems are there, short, then we'll have long problems. First short problem. N Company Limited had the following capital: 10,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each fully paid. Then 1,008% preference shares of rupees 100 each fully paid. Concentrate on the problem. If you understand the problem, it is half solved. So totally 10,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each and 1,000 preference shares of rupees 100 each. The company resolved to reconstruct itself and to reduce the equity shares to rupees 4 each. Presently कंपनी में एक इक्विटी शेयर 10 रुपये का है. प्रपोजल ये है कि उसको कैंसिल कर देंगे 10 रुपीस को और नया शेयर इश्यू करेंगे 4 रुपीस पर शेयर. And preference shares to rupees 60 each. Presently the face value of each preference share is 100. Now we want to reduce it to 60. The amount thus made available was utilized in writing off profit and loss account debit balance amounting to 80,000. So presently we have a debit balance in P&L account, accumulated loss of 80,000. ये 80,000 को निकालना है. And the balance for writing down goodwill. अभी जो बचेगा वो amount से goodwill को write off करेंगे. Give entries in the books of M Limited to record the above. It's very simple problem. You have to remember the entries. Already in the theory video I have explained the journal entries to be passed. First, journal entries in the books of M Limited. Equity share capital old 10 rupees account data. Presently the company is having 10,000 shares of rupees 10 each. So 10,000 into 10, 1 lakh. I'm cancelling the old share capital. Now to equity share capital new. New equity share capital is credited by the new face value. The face value of each share is 4 rupees. So 4 into 10,000, 40,000. तो पुराने 1 लाख रुपए का इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल डेबिट करने से वो पुराना इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल क्लोज हो गया. अब नया इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल जो 4 रुपीस ईच पर शेयर है 40,000. अब बचा कितना 1 लाख माइनस 40,000, 60,000 रुपीस बैलेंस दैट विल बी ट्रांसफर्ड टू reconstruction account. To reconstruction account, new account is opened called reconstruction account. Being the old equity share capital cancelled and new equity shares issued, balance transferred to reconstruction as per reconstruction scheme. The narration. Narration क्या लिखेंगे एंट्री का? Being the old equity share capital cancelled and new equity shares issued, balance transferred to reconstruction as per the reconstruction scheme. Second, similarly we have to cancel the old preference share capital. Earlier we have 1,000 preference share of rupees 100 each. 1,000 preference shares of rupees 100 each, 1 lakh. तो preference share capital 100 rupees old, 1 lakh. ये डेबिट करने से पुराना प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल कैंसिल. अब न्यू प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल को क्रेडिट करेंगे टू प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल न्यू. अब न्यू कैपिटल कितने का है 60 rupees given in the problem. One preference share will be 60 rupees. So 1000 into 60, 60,000. तो पुराना 1 लाख रुपए का प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल कैंसिल हो गया, नया प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल 60,000 इश्यू हुआ. बैलेंस कितना रिलीज हो गया? 40,000 that will be transferred to reconstruction account. Narration: being the old preference share capital cancelled and new preference shares issued as per the reconstruction scheme. हो गया, 2 entries are over. Now reconstruction account is credited by 60,000. Here reconstruction account is credited by 40,000. 60,000 plus 40,000, we have 1 lakh rupees. We have 1 lakh rupees in reconstruction account. Now this 1 lakh rupees of reconstruction account can be utilized for writing off the fictitious assets, fictitious and intangible assets. तो रिकंस्ट्रक्शन को यहाँ 60,000 क्रेडिट करें या 40,000, टोटल 1 लाख. तो रिकंस्ट्रक्शन अकाउंट डेटा 1 लाख. टू P&L account, to profit and loss account, it is given in the problem that there is accumulated loss of rupees 80,000 that has to be written off, write off. Now the balance will be used in writing down the goodwill amount. The balance is used to write down the goodwill amount. तो balance कितना बचा? 1 लाख में से 80,000 यूज कर लिए, अभी 20,000 रुपीज बचे. That 20,000 rupees will be used to write down the goodwill amount. That's all. These are the journal entries on reconstruction, internal reconstruction. Hope you understood. Next, second problem. See the second short problem. A company under the scheme of reconstruction decide to write off preliminary expenses 20,000, profit and loss account debit balance 60,000, machinery 80,000, using 1,40,000 sacrifice made by equity shareholders and 70,000 sacrifice made by debenture holders. So here already entries were passed regarding sacrifice made by shareholders and sacrifice made by debenture holders. So we are already having in our reconstruction account 1,40,000 plus 70,000. रिकंस्ट्रक्शन अकाउंट ऑलरेडी बना चुके हैं और वो अकाउंट में ऑलरेडी 70,000 और 1,40,000, 2,10,000 rupees we are having. Now we have to utilize that 2,10,000 rupees in writing off the assets. So how, which asset we have to write off? A preliminary expense we have to write off by 20,000. Profit and loss account we have to write off by 60,000. Machinery by 80,000. तो ये 3 asset दिया. इसके बाद भी अगर स्टिल पैसा बच रहा रिकंस्ट्रक्शन में, that will be transferred to capital reserve account. Now only one entry. Reconstruction account data 2,10,000. Already sacrifice made by shareholders and debenture holders already given in the problem. 70,000, 1,40,000, 2,10,000 rupees reconstruction. Now this will be utilized in writing off the assets. Preliminary expenses 20,000. Profit and loss account 60,000. Machinery by 80,000. Only 3 assets are given. Still we are having remaining amount 2,10,000 में से -20, -60, -80 निकाल दिया तो अभी 50,000 rupees बचे हैं. That 50,000 rupees will transfer it to capital reserve account, balancing figure. Being the assets written off and written down as per the reconstruction scheme. Being the assets written off and written down. कुछ assets को write off कर देते हैं, कुछ assets को write down करते हैं as per the reconstruction scheme. That's all. These 2 problems are the short problems. Now I am coming to the main problem on this internal reconstruction. See the problem carefully. Vikrant Company Limited has the following balance sheet on 31st December 2005. Share capital, liability side, 4,000 preference share of 100 each, 4 lakh. 6,000 equity share of 100 each, 6 lakh. Creditors 2 lakh. So total 12 lakh liability side. Asset side, goodwill 2 lakh, building 2 lakh 20,000, machinery 1 lakh 80,000, stock 1 lakh 60, debtors 1 lakh 80, cash 20,000, P&L account 2 lakh 40,000. Total is 12 lakh. Balance sheet of Vikrant Limited given. Considering the financial position, a capital reduction scheme is decided as follows. So what are the points in capital reduction scheme? Equity and preference shares are to be reduced to 50 rupees each. Earlier, the face value of each equity share and preference share was 100 rupees. Now we have to cancel that face value of 100 rupees and issue new equity shares and preferential 50 rupees each. The amount is used to write off goodwill and P&L account. So two assets, fictitious assets. Goodwill, P&L account we have to remove. Buildings are to be reduced by 30,000 and machinery by 20,000. The balance is to be used to create reserve for doubtful debts, pass necessary entries to implement the scheme and prepare the balance sheet. Whatever scheme is given, internal reconstruction scheme, that in scheme we have to implement by passing the journal entries, and after that we have to make a new balance sheet after reconstruction. That's the problem, right? Now first of all, we'll cancel the old equity shares and preference shares and issue new shares. पहले का जो 100 रुपीस का शेयर है उसको कैंसिल करके नया 50 रुपीस का शेयर इश्यू करेंगे. Now, main problem first one, journal entries. Equity share capital account debtor 100 rupees 6 lakh. तो बैलेंस शीट में दे दिया 6 लाख रुपीस का शेयर कैपिटल है. How many shares are there? 4,000 preference shares, 6,000 equity share. Equity shares are 6,000. उसको कैंसिल कर दिए, डेबिट कर दिए. अब क्रेडिट करेंगे न्यू इक्विटी शेयर. द न्यू इक्विटी शेयर फेस वैल्यू विल बी 50 रुपीज, आधा है उसका. पहले 100 रुपीज था, अब वो नया शेयर 50 रुपीज कर देंगे, तो ये 6 लाख रुपीज भी जाकर 3 लाख रुपीज हो जाएगा. 6,000 into 50. 6,000 equity shares are there into 50. So 6,000 into 50, 3 lakh. To reconstruction account 3 lakh, a new account is opened to keep the balance. Reconstruction account. Being the old equity share capital cancelled and new equity shares issued as per the reconstruction scheme. Similar entry we have to make for preference share capital. Preference share capital old 100, 4 lakh. So 4,000 preference shares were there. The face value of each preference share was 100. उसको कैंसिल कर दिया, डेबिट करने से क्लोज हो गया. अब वो 100 रुपीस का कैंसिल करके 50 रुपीस का इश्यू करेंगे टू प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल न्यू 50 रुपीस 2 लाख, हाफ हो गया. 4,000 into 50. 4,000 preference shares are there into 50, 2 lakh. The balance 4 lakh minus 2 lakh, 2 lakh remaining to reconstruction account. Being the old preference share capital cancelled and new preference share is issued as per the reconstruction scheme. Now see here, first entry reconstruction amount 3 lakh, second entry reconstruction amount 2 lakh. Totally we have 5 lakh rupees in our reconstruction account. Now this 5 lakh rupees should be utilized to write off the assets. So entry will be reconstruction account at all 5 lakh. 2. Goodwill 2 lakh. It is given in the problem that we are required to write off goodwill and P&L account. Problem में first point वही दिया है. The amount is to be used to write off goodwill and P&L account. Second point given in the problem, to write off the goodwill and P&L account. तो balance sheet में goodwill 2 lakh दिया और P&L account 2,40,000. तो 2 lakh goodwill, 2,40,000 P&L account. दोनों को निकाल देना है, दोनों को क्रेडिट कर दो. To goodwill 2 lakh, to P&L account 2,40,000. Now building and machinery are to be reduced. It is given in the problem. Building are to be reduced by 30,000. To building 30,000. Machinery are to be reduced by 20,000. To machinery 20,000. And the balance is to be used to create reserve for bad debts. अब ये assets को write off करके write down करने के बाद जो भी balance बचेगा, that balance will be used for writing down, for creating a reserve for bad debts. तो यहाँ पर reserve for bad debts balancing figure. So out of 5 lakh rupees minus 5 lakh minus 2 lakh minus 2,40,000 minus 30,000 minus 20,000. ये पूरा माइनस करने के बाद बचेगा बैलेंसिंग फिगर 10,000. That 10,000 will be used to create reserve for bad debts given in the problem. Being the fictitious assets the other and the intangible assets are written off and other assets written down as per the reconstruction scheme. Again I repeat the narration for this entry. Being the fictitious assets and intangible assets written off. ये P&L account fictitious asset है और goodwill intangible asset, both are written off and other assets written down. This good building and machinery are written down as per the reconstruction scheme. That's all. ये हो गया entries. Now it is asking you to show the balance sheet after reconstruction. Okay, so balance sheet. Format will prepare without taking the amounts. First we'll take the format. Shareholders fund, share capital number 1, reserves and surplus number 2, trade payable number 3, then assets were fixed assets, tangible, intangible, current assets, inventories, trade receivable, data, cash and cash equivalent. That's it. This is a blank balance sheet. Now in working note we will find out the amounts. Note number 1, share capital, preference share capital. 4,000 preference shares were there earlier of rupees 100 each. Now we have cancelled. अब नहीं 100 रुपीस का, अब 50 रुपीस का शेयर है. तो 4,000 into 50, 2 lakh rupees preference share capital. 6,000 equity shares are there. The face value of each share will be 50 rupees. New. So 6,000 into 50, 3 lakh. So 2 lakh rupees preference share capital, 3 lakh rupees equity share capital, total share capital 5 lakh. Now I have taken 5 lakh. Reserves and surplus. We don't have any reserves and surplus. कोई reserves and surplus नहीं है. Put a dash. Third, trade payable. Trade payable creditors. There is no change in creditors. How much are the creditors given in the balance sheet? Previous balance sheet 2 lakh. So before reconstruction creditors were 2 lakh. After reconstruction also 2 lakh. Then total of the liability side 7 lakh. Tangible assets. Tangible assets. In tangible assets we will take building good machinery. Building machinery. What is the building value before reconstruction? Building value was 2,20,000. 2,20,000 was the value of the building before reconstruction. How much building was written off here? 30,000. 30,000 building was written off. So 2,20,000 minus 30,000, 1,90,000. Building value 1,90,000. Similarly, machinery. Machinery before reconstruction was 1,80,000 balance sheet. In the balance sheet it is given machinery value 1,80,000. How much is written off? 20,000. So 1,80,000 minus 20,000, 1,60,000. Add up 190 plus 160, 350. 3,50,000 is the tangible assets. Here I have taken. Intangible asset not there. Before reconstruction goodwill was there, but we have written off the goodwill. Now goodwill is not there. Dash. Then we have inventories. There is no change in inventories. Inventories means stock. Before reconstruction the stock was given as 1,60,000. Now also 1,60,000. Trade receivable means debtors. So before reconstruction debtors are given 1,80,000. 1,80,000 was the debtors before reconstruction. How much reserve for doubtful bad debts we have made? Reserve for bad debts 10,000. So we subtract 10,000. So 1,80,000 minus 10,000. 1,70,000. You can see here 1,70,000. Last one, cash and cash equivalent. So how much is the cash balance? 20,000 was given before reconstruction, same 20,000 after reconstruction. The total is 7 lakh. That's all. Hope you got the point about internal reconstruction. It's very easy. It's a logic. You have to concentrate. You have to focus on the logic. What we are doing. That's more important. Okay. Now next problem number 2. Second problem. Nilagiri Company Limited had the following balance sheet on 31st March 2010. The liability side equity shares of rupees 100 each 5 lakh. So 5 lakh rupees is the share capital. Each share 100 rupees. So 5 lakh divided by 100, 5,000. Remember 5,000 equity share of rupees 100 each. 6% debentures 2 lakh. Profit prior to incorporation. It's a capital profit. Profit prior to incorporation is a capital profit, and this will be transferred to reconstruction account. This can be used for writing off the asset. ये profit prior to incorporation capital profit है और ये capital profit को use कर सकते हैं for writing of the asset. So we'll transfer this to reconstruction account. Sundry creditors. Then land and building, plant and machinery, goodwill, patent, cash, debtors, stock, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट, प्रिलिमिनरी एक्सपेंसेस. अब एसेट साइड पे कॉन्सेंट्रेट फोकस करिए. प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट और प्रिलिमिनरी एक्सपेंसेस, दीज आर फिक्टिशियस एसेट. इट मस्ट बी रिटन ऑफ. एंड गुडविल एंड पेटेंट्स आर intangible asset. Now we'll see what should be done regarding this intangible assets. The following scheme of reconstruction was adopted. Each share was to be reduced to a share of rupees 20. Presently, we don't have any preference shares. In this problem, we have only equity shares. The face value of equity share is 100. वी हैव टू कैंसिल। 100 रुपये का जो पहले शेयर था उसको कैंसिल करके नया शेयर बनाएंगे 20 रुपये का। तो इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल ओल्ड 100 रुपीज, अकाउंट डेटा 5 लाख, 5 लाख रुपए का शेयर कैपिटल था क्लोज्ड, टू इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल न्यू 20 rupees. तो how many shares are there? 5,000 shares are there. तो 5,000 into 20, 1 lakh. 5,000 into 20 you will get 1 lakh. तो पुराना जो प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल था 5 लाख रुपए का था, डेबिट करके क्लोज कर दिए। अब क्रेडिट करेंगे न्यू कैपिटल जो 1 लाख रुपीस, 5,000 शेयर्स into 20 rupees. बाकी के 4 लाख रुपए को ट्रांसफर कर देंगे रिकंस्ट्रक्शन अकाउंट। All fictitious assets including goodwill and patents were to be eliminated. Fictitious assets 2 दिया और intangible asset 2, सबको एलिमिनेट, चारों एसेट को एलिमिनेट करना। Goodwill, patents, P&L account and preliminary expenses. Plant and machinery was to be brought to 1,60,000. Plant and machinery को 1,60,000 पर लेकर आओ। तो presently what is the value of plant and machinery? It is 2 lakh. Balance sheet it is given plant and machinery 2 lakh. Now it is asking you to brought it down to 1,60,000. तो कितना कम करना है? How much we have to reduce? 40,000 rupees we have to write off. 40,000 rupees we have to write off for plant and machinery. And give journal entries for the above and prepare the balance sheet after implementation of the scheme. It's very easy. Simply you have to remember what are the entries we have to pass first. Here, journal entries. The first entry, equity share capital old rupees 100, 5 lakh. ये बैलेंस शीट में दे दिया। प्रेजेंटली रिकंस्ट्रक्शन से पहले 5 लाख रुपए का इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल है, एक शेयर 100 रुपए का, डेबिट कर दो, कैंसल्ड। क्रेडिट करेंगे टू इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल न्यू 20 rupees. New 20 rupees. How many shares are there? 5,000 shares. 5,000 into 20, 1 lakh. तो न्यू इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल 1 लाख। अब 5 लाख माइनस 1 लाख, 4 लाख रुपीस, दैट विल बी ट्रांसफर टू रिकंस्ट्रक्शन अकाउंट। Being the old equity share capital cancelled and new equity shares issued as per the reconstruction scheme. 4. Now profit prior to incorporation. It is given one capital profit. On liability side you will find profit prior to incorporation. It's a capital profit. It will be transferred to reconstruction. क्योंकि वो लायबिलिटी साइड है, उसको डेबिट करना पड़ेगा। तो प्रॉफिट प्रायर टू इनकॉर्पोरेशन अकाउंट डेटा टू रिकंस्ट्रक्शन 10,000. Being the profit prior to incorporation transfer to reconstruction account. Now reconstruction account में 4 lakh rupees plus 10,000. Total amount available for writing of the asset is 4 lakh 10,000. अब डेबिट करो। Reconstruction account डेटा 4 lakh 10,000. 2. Now we write off one by one. गुडविल राइट ऑफ करना है, पेटेंट्स को राइट ऑफ करना है, P&L अकाउंट को राइट ऑफ करना है एंड प्रिलिमिनरी एक्सपेंसेस को राइट ऑफ करना है। तो टू गुडविल, टू पेटेंट्स, टू P&L अकाउंट, टू प्रिलिमिनरी एक्सपेंसेस। लास्टली गिवन प्लांट एंड मशीनरी वाज टू बी ब्रॉट डाउन टू 1,60,000. प्रेजेंटली इन द बैलेंस शीट इट्स वैल्यू इज 2 लाख। तो 2 लाख से कम करके 1,60,000 पर लाना है। 40,000 रुपीज वी हैव टू राइट डाउन। तो फॉर टू प्लांट एंड मशीनरी 40,000. The balancing figure is 10,000. If you subtract 4 lakh 10,000 में से ये सारे अमाउंट को माइनस कर दो, बैलेंसिंग फिगर 10,000 होगा। It should be transferred to capital reserve account. Transfer to capital reserve account. Narration: being the fictitious assets written off, fictitious and intangible assets written off, and other assets written down as per the reconstruction scheme. That's it. These are the entries. Now we have to make the balance sheet just like the previous one. Equity and liability, shareholders fund, share capital A, reserves and surplus B. First note, second note. Don't take the amount. After writing the notes, we'll take the amounts. Then non-current liability, long-term borrowings 3. Then current liabilities में trade payable total. Then assets में non-current assets, fixed assets में tangible, intangible. Current asset में inventory, trade receivable, cash and cash equivalent. Every time we are preparing the same format for the balance sheet. So after doing so many problems, you are well acquainted with the balance sheet of a company. The only thing you have to take the amounts in notes. Note number 1, share capital. 5,000 equity shares were there earlier and also now 5,000 shares. पहले भी 5,000 शेयर्स थे, अभी भी 5,000. पहले 100 रुपीस का एक शेयर था, अब 20 रुपीस का एक शेयर हो गया. तो 5,000 equity share of rupees 20 is 1 lakh. Now take this 1 lakh rupees against note number 1 in the balance sheet. एक हो गया. Now reserves and surplus. Under reserves and surplus, one capital reserve is created. ये एंट्री पास करते हो, कैपिटल रिजर्व क्रेडिट करें तो वन रिजर्व हैज अराइजन, तो रिजर्व्स एंड सरप्लस में कैपिटल रिजर्व 10,000. नाउ टेक दिस 10,000 अंडर रिजर्व्स एंड सरप्लस. हो गया. थर्ड वन इज लॉन्ग टर्म बोरोइंग्स. लॉन्ग टर्म बोरोइंग्स में डिबेंचर्स, वी टेक द डिबेंचर्स. वी हैव नॉट चेंज द डिबेंचर्स, वी हैव नॉट टेकन एनीथिंग इन द जर्नल एंट्री. जर्नल एंट्री में देखिए कहीं डिबेंचर्स को चेंज करे क्या? वी हैव नॉट चेंज्ड. तो सेम अमाउंट डिबेंचर्स, पहले भी 2 लाख रुपीस थे, अभी भी 2 लाख रुपीस के डिबेंचर्स. और उसके बाद करंट लायबिलिटी, ट्रेड पेबल. ट्रेड पेबल में लेते क्रेडिटर्स. हाउ मच आर द क्रेडिटर्स बिफोर रिकंस्ट्रक्शन? इट इज 1,50,000. नाउ आल्सो 1,50,000. ट्रेड क्रेडिटर्स, ट्रेड पेबल 1,50,000. नो चेंज. टेक द टोटल ऑफ द लायबिलिटी साइड 4,60,000. नाउ कम टू एसेट साइड. टैंजिबल एसेट्स. टैंजिबल एसेट्स. अब टैंजिबल एसेट्स में लैंड एंड बिल्डिंग 1 लाख. लैंड एंड बिल्डिंग 1 लाख, पहले भी 1 लाख था, अभी भी 1 लाख. वी हैव नॉट चेंज्ड. प्लांट एंड मशीनरी बिफोर रिकंस्ट्रक्शन इट वाज गिवन 2 lakhs. हाउ मच अमाउंट वी हैव रिटन ऑफ हियर? प्लांट एंड मशीनरी 40,000 रुपीज वी हैव रिटन ऑफ. तो 2 लाख में से 40,000 रुपए राइट ऑफ कर दिए, तो बचे कितने? 1,60,000. तो 1 lakh plus 1,60,000, 2,60,000 is the tangible assets. ये tangible assets. Intangible asset we don't have. Reconstruction से पहले intangible assets was given. Goodwill and patents we have written off. Now there is no intangible asset. Now inventories, stock, no change. Stock पहले जो था अभी भी वही लिया 95,000, same 95,000. Trade receivable. We have not changed anything regarding trade receivable. Same amount trade receivable, debtors 1 lakh. Cash and cash equivalent. So here it is given cash in hand 5,000. In the balance sheet it is given. So before reconstruction 5,000, after reconstruction also 5,000. Take the total of the balance sheet 4,60,000. That's all. So 2 short problems and 2 main problems we have done on internal reconstruction. It's very easy. Logically, you have to think what we are doing. We are reducing the capital and we are creating one account, reconstruction account. By using that reconstruction account, we are writing off the assets. That's it. So, 2 problems, main problems we have completed.